Continues Chacham Ovadia. If somebody made a mistake and he said al hanisim in the avodah, dahainu beberkat retzeh, which means to say in the retzeh blessing, b'mokum ya'aleh v'yavo, in the place of ya'aleh v'yavo. As you guys can see, you have over here retzeh Hashem Elokeinu, b'amech Yisrael, etc., until you get to utihil ratzon tamid avodah Yisrael mecha. Now the person, he went ahead and he started saying over here, al hanisim, v'al ha'purkim, al gevurot, v'al ha'tushot, v'al ha'neflaot, b'mei matidya ben Yochanan Kohen Gadol ha'shmonai, etc. He started instituting the al hanisim blessing, or the al hanisim prayer, in the place of Ya'aleh v'yavo. Instead of saying al hanisim after modim, he started saying al hanisim in the middle of the retzeh prayer, which is the avodah. So what happens if a person went ahead and he said al hanisim right over here in this section, and then he said v'ata b'rachamecha harabim tachpos banu v'tertzenu v'techazena enenu b'shuvecha l'tzion b'rachamim baruch ata Hashem hamachazir shechinato l'tzion modim anachnu lach shatahu, etc. And he started davening, and now he remembered, 1 second, why is al hanisim over here? Why did I say it over here in the place of Ya'aleh v'yavo, when it's really after modim? What does he do? So comes the Chacham Ovadia and he says, Mi sheta'a ve'amar al hanisim ba'avodah. If somebody made a mistake and he said al hanisim in the avodah, in the service prayer, dahainu beberkat retzeh, which means to say in the retzeh blessing, right over here, b'mokum Ya'aleh v'yavo, in the place of Ya'aleh v'yavo, this is Ya'aleh v'yavo. Over here, instead of saying, again, you don't have to say Ya'aleh v'yavo on the regular days of Chanukah, only on Rosh Chodesh Chanukah you're going to have to add this. But what happens if a person went ahead and he inserted right over here in the place of Ya'aleh v'yavo, he inserted al hanisim. So comes Chacham Ovadia and he says, Im niskarer behoda'ah, if you remembered while you were saying modim anachnu lach shatahu, etc., and then you reached over here and you said Kim me'olam kivinu lach, you reached this area, and now you're like to yourself, 1 second, why is al hanisim here? I thought it was supposed to be in the retzeh blessing. Comes Chacham Ovadia and he tells you, Chozer ve'omro b'mkomo ki tikun chazal. Go back and say it in its place, like the rabbis of blessed memory had instituted that it should be said after modim and not after retzeh. Now, Rabotai, this is one part of the halacha. Continues the Chacham Ovadia and he says, what happens, Rabotai? A person went ahead and he said al hanisim in the retzeh blessing. Right over here, Rabotai, same case. He said al hanisim right after saying utihil ratzon tamid avodah Yisrael mecha ve'al hanisim ve'al. He started saying the whole thing, and now he continued modim anachnu lach. He didn't pay attention why is al hanisim there. Continued davening. He said ve'al kulam yitbarach v'halalu v'varuchu, etc. Sim shalom elokai netor oseh shalom b'murmahu, etc. And now he sees the Chazan is saying al hanisim after modim. He says, well, I don't understand, but I did it after retzeh. Why is he doing it after modim? So he goes to the rabbi. The rabbi says, you made a mistake. So now, the question is that considered to be an interruption where we are going to require him to go back and repeat the whole Shemona Esrei? So comes Chacham Ovadia and he says like this, V'im lo niskar ela b'sof hatifla. If you only remembered towards the end of the prayer, eino chozer, do not go back. Why? She'en bazeh kol chashash hefsek b'ma she'omro shelo b'mkomo. There is absolutely no concern of interruption in this, that you did not say it in its original place. So therefore comes Chacham Ovadia and he tells like this, Rabotai, if a person went ahead and he remembered in the end of the Shemona Esrei, we're not going to require him to go back and repeat the Shemona Esrei, or to go back and start again. No, Rabotai, there's nothing what to be concerned about. There's no concern of an interruption, even though he didn't say it in the proper place. Chacham Ovadia says, Eino chozer, he doesn't have to go back. She'en bazeh kol chashash hefsek b'ma she'omro shelo b'mkomo. There's absolutely no concern of an interruption in the Shemona Esrei, in this, that he did not say it in its original place. Now the next halakha is very important. Now a lot of times people ask, Rabbi, when I'm in the middle of the Shemoneh Esrei and I hear kedusha, when the Chazal starts saying kedusha, right? They start saying Nagdishach v'na'aritzah kinam siyach, kadosh kadosh kadosh, baruch kivod yimloch, right? That's the kedusha, Rabotai. Once the Chazal starts saying it in the middle of my Shemoneh Esrei, am I allowed to stop and answer it? No, you're not allowed to stop and answer it. Now, Rabotai, I'm not going to get into the halachot of what you have to do, but what I do want to show you here, and this question comes up a lot. People say, Rabotai, people say, Rabbi, can I go ahead and can I say it fast? Can I daven my Shemoneh Esrei fast so I can catch up with the kedusha? Okay, so I'll put it like this: if you're ready towards Sim Shalom or in Elokai Nitzor, all right, go ahead and finish it. But if you are in Ritzeh or even in Modim, now to go ahead and swallow the rest of your daven just to catch up kedusha, you are not obligated. Osek b'mitzvah, patur mina mitzvah. I am busy with one mitzvah, I am exempt from another mitzvah. So when I am in the middle of my Shemoneh Esrei, I am not obligated to go ahead and rush my Shemoneh Esrei just to make kedusha. That I am not obligated to do. So now I'll tell you the halakha about it. I just didn't want to go off tangent, but I'll tell you the halakha so you guys should know. If I am in the middle of the Shemoneh Esrei and I have a chazan that's Yirei Shamayim, a chazan that's God-fearing, and he knows the halachot of chazanut. Not everybody knows the halachot of chazanut. And I know that he has me in mind when he's saying kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. So therefore, when you are in the middle of the Shemoneh Esrei, stop, be quiet. You're not allowed to say anything. Just listen to him saying kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. Amonai tzivot melucha l'shkevdo. Listen to what the chazan is saying. You're not allowed to say anything. But Rabotai, a lot of times the chazanim don't have kavanah. They don't have kavanah. If they don't have kavanah for you, what's the point of you stopping? So therefore, you can continue davening. It really depends who the chazan is. Okay, so that is the basic halakha. But coming back to our halakha over here, what happens if a person right now, he realized that the chazan started the Shemoneh Esrei, the repetition. Now he has two options. He says, look, I can either skip al hanisim and I'll make it to kedusha. I'll be able to say with him kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. Or I can shorten the al hanisim. I'll make it, the beginning, I'll say like this, watch. So I had this work several times. I'll say like this. Al hanisim, I'll say this first two lines. Then I'll say, etc. All right, and then I'll go back to over here. I'll go to the last two lines right over here. Whatever. I'll skip out the whole middle section. I'll skip out all this, Rabotai. Let's just say, for example, right? I'll skip out all this and I'll just start from here. Rabotai, we're going to see Chacham Avad is going to tell you, you're not allowed to skip Al Hanisim. You cannot omit it from your Shemoneh Esrei just because you want to catch kedusha. Also, you're not allowed to shorten Al Hanisim just because you want to catch kedusha. It doesn't work like that. So he tells you over here, Ve'asur ledaleg o lekatzer menusach Al Hanisim. It is forbidden for one to skip or to shorten the text of Al Hanisim kedei speak la'anot kedusha or kaddish. In order for you to be able to have enough time to answer kedusha or even kaddish. No, Rabotai. If I'm in the middle of the Shemoneh Esrei, one who's busy with the mitzvah is pater from another mitzvah. He's exempt. Kol haosek b'mitzvah, pater min mitzvah. So when I'm doing one mitzvah, I am exempt from another mitzvah. So when one is in the Shemoneh Esrei and he reached a portion of Al Hanisim, he's right over here, and he makes a calculation that by the time I'm going to finish Shemoneh Esrei, I'm not going to be able to answer to kedusha or to kaddish. But if I skip Al Hanisim, or even if I shorten Al Hanisim, I'll be able to make up with them. I'll be able to catch with them kedusha or even kaddish, depending where the chazan is holding. Comes Chacham Avad, he says it is forbidden for one to skip Al Hanisim. You have to say the whole Al Hanisim, and you're not allowed to, Rabotai, skip it or shorten it just to catch with them kedusha or kaddish. And that's what he's telling us over here. Vasur ledaleg o lekatzer minusach Al Hanisim kedei la'aspik la'anot kedusha or kaddish. It is forbidden for one to skip or to shorten the text of Al Hanisim in order for him to be able to answer kedusha or kaddish.